All right, this is our Unit 2 review. Which layer of skin contains blood vessels and nerves? Which layer of skin contains blood vessels and nerves? And yes, that is the dermis. That's the layer that has a lot of important stuff in it. A lot of times you lose layers of your epidermis just as you go through life, but dermis does have some of those more important parts that you definitely don't want to lose. All right. Blank removes waste such as extra water and urea from the body. And urea is an ammonia based waste product. This is a picture of the filtering units of the kidneys. And that actually, of course, is urine that removes waste such as extra water and urea from the body. Your body wants to maintain homeostasis, so you don't want to remove too much water. But yes, removing extra water does help your body maintain that balance, that homeostasis. The blank makes chemicals that are transported through the circulatory system. So here's a picture of the circulatory system. Um, and chemicals that get transported through the circulatory system to different organs within the body are made by the endocrine system. So yes, that is the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland. Where does the blood go after it leaves the right ventricle of the heart? After it leaves the right ventricle of the heart. And it actually goes then to the lungs, which will get the oxygen. Then it can go back to the other chambers of the heart on the left side and then go to the body cells where that oxygen is needed. Which system is affected by diabetes? If a person has diabetes, which system would be affected? And that picture just shows different levels of blood sugar, which is what diabetes affects throughout the day, kind of varying with meals that a person eats. So it is the endocrine system that affects diabetes or is affected by diabetes, the pancreas specifically, which showed that bacteria causes wine to sour according to Pasteur's research. So Louis Pasteur set up some experiments. He heated some wine, he didn't heat some other wine, he did covered some, didn't cover some, and bacteria was shown to cause the wine to sour because heat would kill bacteria and heated wine did not sour. So with your heated wine, the bacteria was dead and it did not sour or go bad, the wine. Which type of digestion occurs in the small intestine through enzyme action? Remember, enzyme makes chemical reactions occur. So yes, those are chemical, that's chemical digestion. The other type, physical or mechanical, is chewing or breaking your food into small pieces. As you're going through this, feel free to pause the recording. You know, if I'm going too fast, I've got a time limit, so I'm trying to get in under my time limit. Which provides the first line of defense against disease. So if you keep this sealed or intact or not damaged, your chance of getting disease like bacteria and things like that within your body is small. So yes, the skin, if it stays intact, not cut, that kind of thing, it does a really good job of keeping bacteria out of the body. Blank are produced by the immune system in response to a vaccine. So you get a vaccine, you're kind of fooling your body into thinking you've had the disease. So your body's producing these things, and that helps to fight off the disease if you do encounter that disease or those pathogens. And it is antibodies that your body produces to fight a disease in response to a vaccine. Which type of joint is this? And I believe this is like a either a hip or a kind of arm joint, upper arm. And you can see it's the one that rotates. It is a ball and socket joint. Where are ligaments found? Where are ligaments found? So we have tendons in this picture and we have ligaments, and they're both connectors. They connect things. So the patella is your kneecap, which is a bone, and quadriceps is a muscle. So tendons must connect bones and muscle, but we're talking about ligaments. So that medial collateral ligament is actually connecting the kneecap to a different bone in your lower leg, your shin. So it is linking bone to bone. That's what ligaments do. Blank make molecules that are recognized by blank to cause change. And the axons of nerve cells make molecules that can be recognized by muscles to cause movement or change. What happens in bone marrow? So bone marrow is really important. I'll tell you just a little story that a friend of mine has cancer right now of the blood cells, and it's a certain type called leukemia, and they've tried to treat it with chemotherapy and it's not going away. Well, his next step is to have a bone marrow transplant where people donate bone marrow, and you can actually get on a list where they check the proteins in your body, kind of your genetics, to see um, if you'd be a good match for someone. And he matched with someone. The person is in Germany, so this bone marrow is coming from Germany to help my friend, which is I think is really cool. So just want to kind of put in there that bone marrow, blood donation, those are things that, when you get older, you may want to sign up to donate. Good way of doing good for others. Which of these is true? All fungi are microscopic, all fungi hurt other living things, none is true, or all fungi are parasites. And there's a picture of some fungi right there. And that is none of these is true. None of those are true. Not all fungi are microscopic. They don't all hurt living things, and they're not all parasites. All right, which of these is true? So here's a picture of the arteries, the arterioles, which are kind of small arteries, capillaries there in the middle, and then the venules and veins. Which of these is true? It is yes, arteries move blood away from the heart. Blank and blank both reabsorb water into the body. So part of homeostasis, that balance that living things must keep, is water balance. So if you have a lot of water in the body, or just kind of in the normal, course of things, extra water is going to get removed. But we're talking about these two things actually reabsorb a lot of the water back into the body, because you probably know most of the chemical reactions in your body need water to occur. So it's actually the kidneys will reabsorb a lot of the water into your body, and the extra goes out as urine. Now, the large intestine, once food, that undigested food mass, reaches your large intestine, it's very, very watery feces or poop. And the large intestine is going to remove lots of water from that so that you can have a more solid, less messy feces, which is a good thing. Um, which of these is true? And this one is that the low oxygen blood enters the right side of the heart. It then gets pumped to the lungs. It then comes back with oxygen and then goes to the left side of the heart and gets pumped back to the body, which is not involved in movement, or involved the least in movement. Most of your systems are involved in most things that happen in the body. They work together. Like we could say for sure, digestion is involved in movement because you've got to get energy from your food. But one of these is the least involved in movement. As far as those go, yes, and it's integumentary. The ones that are mainly involved in movement would be the skeletal, muscular, and nervous system. Neurotransmitters, little chemicals that send signals, chemical messengers, kind of a good way to say it, carry nervous system messages across, and it's the gap between different neurons or nerve cells. But what do we call those gaps? Yes, they are synapses. So the neurotransmitters carry the message across the synapses to the next neuron to send it throughout the body. And this is always happening within your body. You might have heard of some neurotransmitters like serotonin is extremely kind of famous, well known. Dopamine is another well known one. Blank need host cells to reproduce. And here's an example of um, one of my favorites, a bacteriophage. But yes, viruses, and that's an example of a virus. Viruses cannot reproduce on their own. They need host cells to reproduce. One of the reasons they're not really considered living things. These air sacs or alveoli within the lungs exchange what? So they take in something and get rid of something. That's what we mean by exchange. And they are taking in oxygen, yes, and getting rid of carbon dioxide. So that's gas exchange. Those are gases. Which of these can help reduce the spread of infectious disease? So we're kind of thinking about in a hospital setting. A lot of times people are in a hospital, they may have an infection. How do we help reduce the spread of infectious diseases? And the best thing to do if someone has a really bad infection is not let them have very many visitors so other people are not potentially picking up the infection, which is not controlled by the autonomic nervous system. We said autonomic kind of means automatic. So the skeletal system is mostly voluntary, which is saying, that we decide when to move our skeletal system. So it's not really controlled by the autonomic or automatic nervous system. Capillaries are found in the alveoli, the air sacs of lungs, and in the nephrons, the little units of kidneys, so that molecules, yes, such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc., can move into these tissues and out of these tissues, which is not caused by germs. So yes, generally cancer is not caused by germs. There's a couple of types of cancer that are closely related to viruses, such as human papillomavirus. That's one of them, but generally cancer is not infectious or not caused by germs. Um, but these other three things are. So I want to give you a couple of instructions. That is our last question. Be sure that you continue on and you do the review sheet, or that you've done it during this, or that you get it done before you do the test. You need to put away all your materials and then you'll take the test part of this form. Be sure you hit submit, and it's really important that you webmail your teacher and let them know that you did the test or the retest so they can go in and pull your new grade. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.